Hello, students. Because there were several people absent today, I wanted to make this recording introducing you to the researched argument because this is a fairly large project worth a lot of points, and you'll be working on it over the next 5 weeks. So let me just go through what it says in the assignment of the researched argument. You're going to write a 6 to 8 page paper. It's about 2,000 words. So essay number 1 is 4 pages, number 2, 5 pages, 6 pages. It's not a big, long paper on any rhetoric of science topic of your choosing. By research, I mean library or textual research as opposed to fieldwork, mainly because textual research should be easier for you to do well. That said, if you wanted to conduct research of some sort, I don't rule that out entirely, but doing that well depends upon an effective research design, careful methodology, and human subjects or IRB approval. So you can't just go around start asking your classmates questions because some of them might be personal information, and so you need specific permission to engage in that kind of research. By argument, I mean that you should have a thesis. So a simple report of what you discovered is not as good as a claim supported by evidence about what you discovered. So in my response to your three researchable questions, in several cases I said, that sounds more like a report. So what you need to do is find a controversial topic and you pick one side of that controversy that you are arguing in favor of. All right. Ideally, your thesis is the answer to a question you had in mind when you began your research. For example, I'm familiar with the problematic impacts of the dairy and meat lobbies on the history of American food pyramids. But I don't know if people in other advanced democracies, for example, Canada, England, Germany, and Scandinavian countries, have had their governments recommend diets quite as unhealthy as those recommended by our government. I think I could research that question by looking at reputable and independent scholarly sources and be able to rank the health of the diet recommended by various governments. My thesis would then be something like this. The diet recommended by the U.S. Department of Agriculture in the second half of the 20th century was far worse, or just as bad, or actually a bit better than the diets recommended by the governments of other advanced democracies. So in this case, I would be making a value argument. You're free to try definitional value resemblance. I just recommend that you stay away from causal arguments. By rhetoric of science, I mean topics that involve science and how people communicate about scientific topics. That could include things like dumbed-down explanations in textbooks, or current debates about scientific questions not yet settled, or misrepresentations of scientific issues in the media, or politicians interfering with real science because of financial considerations, etc. Penultimately, in the example I gave, I indicated that I would look in reputable and independent scholarly sources. However, since scientific explanations and/or arguments regularly appear in popular mass media, you might choose to perform rhetorical analyses of those documents to support your claims about their accuracy, biases, and intended audiences. On that note, I had a student a couple years ago who wanted to research into CTE, that's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, an ailment that besets some NFL players. And the person, was looking and quoting material directly from the NFL. And that's entirely appropriate in that argument because the National Football League has published information upon CTE, and their kind of addressing of it. Is that a peer-reviewed scholarly source? Absolutely not. It's 100% opposite of that. Peer-reviewed scholarly sources can be found in a journal of neuroscience. NFL statements on it are basically public relations to address the fact that claim that they care about their players when in fact they were sued for millions of dollars for actively hiding and concealing information about CTE. So the step one in this production of this researched argument is a 3-item annotated bibliography. So all 3 of the items in there need to be peer-reviewed scholarly sources. And so the information literacy session we had in the library should help you find that kind of source. You're to have a good draft by 4/8 because we'll dedicate some class time to give you an opportunity to give and receive some peer critique on your work in progress. Your finished argument is due the following week, 4/15, and you will deliver a multimodal oral presentation of your findings to your classmates on 4/17, 4/22, or 4/24. So I hope that is all clear, and if not, if you have any questions, by all means, get in touch with me or with your writing fellow, and I look forward to seeing you starting to work on this.